again with one of the prominent people that I've come across in my career world, even though the ironies,
Can we
the,
record? Sorry to cut in.
even though, where do we record now? Can you record where you are? Okay, I'll record. Okay, okay, let's start all over again. Three, two, one, go. Good evening, everybody. We'd like to welcome you to our first event this year. And I'm super excited to be hosting today the Agile Disciples event. And I was and starting with one of the people that have inspired me in my career and in my work, and also several of us that that it doesn't even know is an inspiration to us. However, for us to get started, we just quickly talk about what we do, who we are. For those of you that are going to be with us for the first time, I'm Divine, and hosting with me today, you can see on camera already, Dr. Anne. Nice if you have your cameras on though, but if you're comfortable having it off, okay. But if we can see you, we believe so much in face-to-face conversation. Now, Agile Disciples, our vision is to empower and develop our community. And how do we want to do that? Our mission is create knowledge, awareness, empowerment in our
Hello.
communities through coaching and skills development to close the opportunities divided. Now, we are nine of us, and you can see us on the screen. I have SB, myself, Chichi, Dr. Francisca, Dr. Anne, who is hosting with me today. We have Tammy, we have Godwin, Femi, Joe, and Abraham. All these guys, you can connect with them on LinkedIn. They are happy to help. They're happy to support your career goals and all. And we have, every coach needs a coach. We have our mentors. We have Anu Goldpark, Coach Bob, Coach Raji, Kemiraji, and also Uncle Femi as well. These are the people that are holding us by the hands too. And again, we have someone that is going to be supporting us today and all. And for us to get started, I would like to pass the ball to Dr. Anne before I make an introduction to uh, our speaker today. Dr. Anne, over to you.
Yeah. Good evening, everyone, or good morning, and or good afternoon, depending on where you're logging in from. Good to have you all here with us today. And yeah, my name is Anne Jademi, and I'm co-host with Divine, and we are going to really have a great time today. Before we jump right in, I just want to do a quick icebreaker. I will share my screen, or can you still share your screen? I'm not able to share.
I'll make you a co-host.
Okay. So I'm going to share my screen now, and then we're just going to do like a very quick icebreaker just to warm the room up before we kick in. Let me know if you can see my screen, please.
Yes, we can.
Okay, good. So this is a picture. We have different people in this boat. All of them, let's assume they are all sailors. You are on this boat. Who are you today? Where are you? Like, what expression? Are you the fearless captain? If you can look at this, you will see different kinds of expressions, and you can also be different things. At the beginning of this place, you may just probably all you want to do is just chill and read a newspaper, like number 20, or you may just be feeling very overwhelmed and drowning and calling for help, like number 18. You may be the relaxed sunbatter, like number 19. So who are you? Just put that in the comment. It can just be the number. So take a look at this picture very well. Remember that life is like sailing. Sometimes you are steering, you're going in the right direction, or you think you're going in the right direction. Sometimes you are holding on to your dear life, like you're feeling very overwhelmed. And sometimes you're just feeling like, oh, I got this, So let's put that number in the chat and just quickly tell us where you are right now. Like how are you feeling? What exactly is going on with you? For me personally, I would say I'm more of number 20. I'm ready to just chill right now because I know we have one of the greatest person in the room. So I'm here to learn. As you can see, number 20 is chilling and reading and adding more knowledge. So I would say that's where I am in terms of how I'm feeling. So, what about others?
I feel I'm number one because I started today being number five, but when I go into this meeting, I just felt like number one, like ready
Uh-oh.
to fly kind of thing.
Okay, okay,
We can
good.
get
Let's
others
hear from more
populates.
people. I see some comments. Are you able to read the comments so that we can just I'm trying
I
to open
think
it up. I don't
Fatima
want.
mentioned she's number four.
Okay,
Dairo said number 20. We only
okay,
have two people
that's good.
populated.
Okay, awesome. Can we hear from more people? We have a lot of people in the room. Please, where are you? We just want to know more about how you're feeling right now.
I feel like I started today feeling like, very free. Number three,
Okay.
flying high and, in the sky. But right now, I have my kids are not feeling too well. So I feel
Oh,
like I'm a number 11. I'm like, what's going on? And it's a
no.
shock to me. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Okay.
that's where I am right now. I'm hoping I get to number one from this
Okay.
call. So
Okay. Hopefully. Let's see how it goes. Okay. Who else wants to share?
Right. What do people do? What do they help with? People can what? You can use your next sentence. People can what?
I
You
can't
said
hear.
it.
Do you want to
Lonely.
mute, please?
Who else wants to share?
You
Or
talked
maybe
about being lonely. How can I use people and lonely in a sentence? I'm saying, in
Shirley,
my
do you want to
opinion,
mute
what do
yourself, please?
people do for me? And what does it have to do
Tech
with
support, do you want to
loneliness?
mute Shirley, please?
and then I
What are
see
you
some
trying to tell
comments in
me?
the chat as well.
Please mute Shirley, tech support.
I see some comments in the chat. Number 5, someone that can you please read that because I'm not able to read it since I'm sharing my screen.
Um, Owen mentioned, I think I'm number five, climbing that ladder to meet number one.
Okay, okay, so you're heading in the right direction then. That's good. I like that. Okay. Who else wants to
uh,
share? Please, just one more minute, one more person, and then we'll move on.
BWB said, is there a picture that depicts me on a private island being weighted on being weighted on hands and feet? Maybe number 20 seems to be like on a private island though.
Right, because number 20 is just all by himself, chilling.
Doctor, probably we should just get started. Do you want to stop
Okay,
sharing
good.
while I make the
Awesome.
introduction?
Okay, good.
All right. So, the funniest thing is years ago when I started my journey in the Agile space, my coach, Anu, always tells me, Divine, don't go on YouTube. Don't go and watch anybody on YouTube. We have several materials to watch, to listen to, and all that. But there is somebody on YouTube I could not get away from. I just always go there because it has tons of Scrum Master's interview. And I'll be looking at him like, oh my God, Jesus Christ, can this man just call me one of these days and all that? And boom, funny enough, thank God for the internet. We met and I'm like, sir, I just don't want to be the only one to have this value from you. I want those in our community to gain access to you, have access, being able to talk to you and learn so much from you. And several people that we work together or we've been together in the career, you've been a mentor to several of them. Some people say some people don't need an introduction, just like the same way it's so difficult for me to introduce you. um I'm happy to introduce you everyone. Saket is just in his world, one of the greatest coach I've met, and he's here to help us out in this journey that we are all in. Welcome, Saket, and the floor is yours, sir.
Thank you. Thank you, Divine. Thank you, Anne, for starting and hosting me in your session. And we want to discuss some of the things which can help you in finding what should we do next, how should we move forward in our agile journey. I understand there has been many developments. There are increase in popularity, decrease in popularity. There are confusions. So we want to explore, and it's more like that we want to have a conversation rather than just a presentation. But just to get started, I have some ideas which I want to share to give you a perspective around that what might be happening in agile ways of working or in a simple ways of working, and how as a Scrum Master, project manager, we can navigate to it. Yeah, that's the major focus area. Now, briefly about me, I am into training and consulting since 2012. Yeah, so it's around 13, 14 years now. But before that, I was into delivery. So I used to do program management and product management before. So after doing it for a while, I started this training coaching thing in the 2012. And I am part of teaching people project management. I run PMP and various program management, PGMP kind of program. And I also teach SAFE since 2014. Yeah, I have been teaching Scaled Agile Framework, so 10 years now. I was pretty active teaching Agile coaching. I am teaching Agile coaching still. There is IC Agile coaching program since 2015. So teaching various Agile, Kanban, and other stuff along with the project management. Yeah, so that's brief about me so that you can probably relate and talk about your questions as we go forward. So my plan is that I speak for around 15 to 20 minutes and talk about the perspective, and then we start with conversation. So yeah, if this is good, then we get started, or if we have something to do before, we can do that.
The floor is all yours.
Yeah,
And we are so
great,
happy
great,
to
great.
have you here and listen to you.
Thank you. Yeah. Any point in time, if someone has a point, please raise hand and we will take your comment. So this is a quick presentation I made last evening, and so said, okay, that we have something to move forward with. So I hope my screen is visible. If there is any challenge, do let me know. So yes, we are focusing on how do we level up and how do we move forward in our leadership journey, especially targeting the Scrum Master's role. My assumption is that people who are into Scrum Master kind of a leadership role, exploring what should they do next in order to improve their career. Now, many of you might be observing that there is a decrease in demand of a Scrum Master. And there is a confusion related to mixing the role of a Scrum Master with other roles. So, like before we talk about what is happening, let's talk about the past. Now, if you observe in the last 2012 onwards, since we started our agile business, there was a huge demand in Scrum Master role. You were seeing that many people were joining the Scrum Master profile, even if they were not doing agile before, but they wanted to do something so that they can start working as a Scrum Master. So before we talk about decline, let's talk about why this high demand was there, why there were so many jobs associated with the Scrum Masters. Yeah. So now you think about it, that what was the triggers which were leading to the growth. So when I was preparing with it, I also gave a thought, because we need to go into the demand first before we talk about decline. And when we can understand the pattern of demand, then probably we will also understand the pattern and reason of decline as well. Now, in the last 10-15 years, you were seeing the high amount of growth in agile transformation. Organizations were deciding to go for agile ways of working. Organizations were putting money to hire agile coaches, transformations, sending their people to the training. So there was a good investment happening in the agile ways of working. Reason being, the whatever ways of working they were using, the traditional ways of working they were using, it was finding they were finding difficult to cope up with the changes, the dynamic nature of the work with that previous approach. And they were looking for something which is flexible, which can help them in achieving their business goal. And they were seeing hope in the agile ways of working. And a lot of organizations were investing in agile ways of working, and which was leading to increase in the role of agile related teams, Scrum Master, coaches as well. Now, one trend was increase in training. Another trend was a lot of conferences. So since Agile Manifesto came, a lot of conferences used to happen. People used to join the conferences, and there was a huge demand. Organization like Agile Alliance, they used to run conference as a business where they talk about Agile and all. Now, if you observe from last 3-4 years, that conference related demand is also started declining. Yeah. So we see the amount of Agile transformation investment stopped because it's been in a while. And as an indicator of it, the amount of trainings happening in Agile also started getting matured. The amount of Agile conferences happening also started maturing. And since that curve is stabilizing, we also see a stabilization of the curve of the roles which are associated with Agile teams. And that is where we can say that maybe the Scrum Master role is also getting impacted. So there was a huge demand, but there is a maturity or a stabilization happening right now. Now, somebody may say, okay, why it is happening? Why we see that particular decline? So there could be many reasons, but here I am putting some 4 reasons only just to get started, and we can probably explore. The context of understanding this is just to find out our way forward. We don't want to do a historical analysis about why this happened and it should not have happened, but we just get a background so that we move forward with that. So what is observed is the concept is mature. Any concept goes through its own growth and maturity and declining phase. So the agile ways of working which was very new, say 15 years ago, is no more new. It's a matured. It's everybody probably understands it. The organization has invest, like those organizations who spend a lot of people for the training, their good amount of people are already trained in agile. The individuals who were new to agile, they were learning about it, but they feel that now this practice is matured. I don't need much learning and stable or focused approach for these ways of working. And since the process is approached matured, I may not need a scrum master who will help my team to understand agile, to understand scrum, and do a daily facilitation. So first is people understand what is agile and scrum. Second, the teams are also maturing. They don't need that much hand holding as much they used to need before. Yeah, so that's one of the reason which we will decline some of the scrum master role. The second reason which I probably see is in the past and today is the emergence of remote working, hybrid working. The essence of agile was face-to-face conversation, people sitting across the table, talking to each other, resolving issues. Yeah. Now, when we are working in a digital mode, we are working remotely, we are working from home, we are working from different geography. And because of various reasons, organization also wants to promote at some extent that hybrid working. Now that hybrid working requires different kind of tools, different kind of communication protocol, which were anyway not coming from agile books or agile theories as well. So the way I am dealing, the concept which was designed 15-20 years ago, 2021 as Agile Manifesto, was not giving us a guideline around it, and we need some new guideline. So emergence of a hybrid work, digital collaboration is something is also putting some question mark on that, okay, we need to do things which are little different than as pure Agile or Scrum probably talk about. The good amount of focus on automation, and that might be making people to find better ways which are not slow and which can automate various things which might be done manually before. So Scrum Masters, traditional tasks, good amount of traditional tasks may get automated, like meetings management, notification. The data extraction is becoming relatively easy now than before. Reporting is becoming easy than before. So those things may also put an impact on, okay, what we should do with the Scrum Master role. And another thing which is also happening in a significant manner is many organizations are also not getting their expectation met with agile transformation. When everybody was doing agile transformation, the organization were also investing money. But now they have realized that we have spent enough money and the amount of returns we were getting is not that much. So many organizations had their own leadership change, yeah, and they are going through their own cost cutting and agility or a lean approaches, which results into questioning the approaches or the frameworks which they are using, and sometimes even questioning the whole agile transformation which organizations were going through. So because of these reasons, we see that there is some mix match happening, and the demand for Scrum Master role as it was there, say 5 years ago, is not there. Yeah, that's the thing which we are observing. Now, we do want to talk about what should we do as a market trend and understanding the market so that we can come up with our approaches. But I take a pause in case someone has a point, or maybe a comment or a question before we talk about what do we see more specifically as a trend in the industry. Great. So I just pause in case someone has to speak, else I will just continue. So don't worry about anything else. Yeah.
I think you've captured all our minds and everything that we have all been seeing.
Great. Yeah, thank you. Yeah. So now if I summarize, we can say, okay, we understand, but I am still a Scrum Master. I am a leader. I need to find out my way forward. Yeah, I need to find my direction. That is my goal. So what kind of trend I can observe and what can I do about it? That is the major focus. Yeah, that is where we want to talk now. So I talk about some trends based on the job vacancies and all, and then probably we'll focus. So first trend is the scaling is becoming important. Yeah, though there is a decline, but still is important. So what I'm trying to show, again, not a perfect data, but it gives a view. So I compared using Google Trends, the term called Certified Scrum Master and Safe Scrum Master. And I'm comparing it from 2018 onwards. So I see the trend of Scrum Master is little bit maturing. I won't say it's a sharp decline. So something which was high before, now it is little bit stabilizing and saying, yeah, it is going somewhere. Yeah, so this is a stabilizing, little declining trend, but stabilizing. That's a Scrum Master. But the trend or a search term related to Safe Scrum Master is in a growth. Yeah. But again, it is also declining further because overall role of a Scrum Master is maturing. That's something we can see. But at the same time, we do see that if we are looking for a Scrum Master, even we need X amount of Scrum Master, the expectation is the Scrum Master should also have some understanding of scaling framework, because the pure Scrum is there, but the emergence of scaling framework has also increased. So the market expect scaling knowledge is expected in the Scrum Master roles. That's the one trend we see. Yes, both trends are maturing. That's the situation, but we need to find out our space because there is a sufficient demand. It is not something zero, but we do see the demand which is there is asking for scaling role. Yeah, that you may also observe when you start looking for the various jobs. The another trend we see is the hybrid approaches are rising. Now, why this is happening? Because of the same reasons, the one size is not fitting. One of the contributor is agile industry itself, because agile people also have many flavors. There is a Scrum, and people are saying we should use Kanban or some portion of Kanban. We should use Scrumban. We should use some amount of Safe. We should use some amount of Nexus. We should use some amount of state like Scrum at scale. So the agile community itself is giving 50 plus approaches to you. Yeah. And when these approaches are coming, the user is also thinking, okay, probably I want to use something from different places. Yeah. So the using of mix and matches is kind of getting promoted by the agile industry itself to start with. And when I start using these mix and matches as a user, I may also start thinking, what if I start mixing and matching something which was popular before, rather than only sticking to agile body? Because when you start putting some mixes, you don't limit to a one particular combination only, because you becomes more and more vigilant about combining various approaches. So we see in the industry that organizations are looking for, let's find out what works for us. Yeah. So say I'm a financial institution, I do have a incremental delivery requirement, but at the same time, I have a very set of very defined compliance requirements. So my compliance requirements are pretty fixed. They are not evolving, but my customer requirements are evolving. So I want to have some process in place. I may have a situation where I want to do an incremental development, but I don't trust my team. I want to make sure I have a contracted people and I want to make sure they are monitored well. They should be sitting in front of me and that kind of stuff. Some organization, again, they have their own reasons, might be doing it, but they want to have something incremental as well coming out. There could be organization which might saying, daily stand up and all those things are not suitable for us. We are working purely remotely, but we want to have some kind of agility inside our processes. So the image I am showing is agile suitability filter. This is something as a tool we use to identify where our context is. How do we define our specific context, like a team size, experience, project, dynamic nature, and based on that, we come up with a mixed mode approach. Now, when I am coming up with a mixed mode approach, I may not be looking for pure Scrum Master. I'm looking for a leader who can handle this mixed mode approach. So that's the second trend coming in. People are looking for scaling, but people are also looking for not to going one framework 100%, but looking for alternatives because they are realizing the limitation of each and every framework. Earlier, they were hoping one framework will solve their problem, but not any more. So that's another trend we see. And since we have a mixed mode approaches, which is also leading to mixed mode roles. We are not looking for Scrum Master as defined in Scrum Guide. We are not looking for a role called A as defined in a particular framework. We are saying, oh, in our company, you are doing these things. So we need a guy who can do this. Yeah. Sometimes they want to keep a title called Scrum Master. Sometimes they want to put a title called Team Coach. Sometimes they want to put a title called Agile Lead. Sometimes they want to put a title called Iteration Manager. They want to put these titles so that people don't get confused with a specific role which is coming from a framework. So because of the previous two ideas, the organizations are also looking for mixing and customizing their role. But at the same time, there will be ingredients which are coming from pure Scrum Master role. That is not at all going away. It is just getting mixed up. It is just getting further polished. Yeah, the core essence of leadership role is making people work together. That's the whole idea, which will remain there. Yeah, you may call the guy Scrum Master, you may call the guy project manager, but the core idea remains the same. But the way we execute is something keeps evolving, and that has evolved before, and now it is evolving further. So that's another trend. Now, this trend is also leading for the people looking for traditional project and program management skills. One of the reason is the expectation from Agile is not getting met. Yeah, in some of the places. Second, they are bringing mixed mode approaches. So when they are looking for mixed mode approaches, when you look for profiles and all, you start seeing the project management kind of competencies coming out because they are looking for individuals who can probably speak multiple framework, multiple approaches in a one, and they can also integrate with the stakeholder expectation. So that's the another thing you see. The Scrum Masters are getting asked that, do you know project management? Do you know program management? And that kind of things is also becoming a pattern. Now, final thing, the tools. Yeah, tools were there. They were not away. But now you will see that it's like a hygiene condition. Yeah, the earlier was that better you know Jira, better you know XYZ tool. But now it's that you should be knowing tools because the work is happening in a digital environment. If I am sitting across different continents and I have to manage digital work, I need to be more familiar with the tools. Now, exact tools depends, but yes, some amount of AI tools, some amount of work management tool like Jira, Azure DevOps, or all these tools are pretty much same. Yeah, you can say one of the another. So if you know one tool, you probably will be able to figure it out the another tool also well, especially when it comes to work management tool. And then there are some kind of generative AIs and other kind of knowledge management tools, which is getting expected from the.
I'm getting another little desk right here to face that way, like for
Your
you.
support, please, can you mute? Thank you.
So now that's 5 trends. And now final slide. Yeah, before I move to a question and clarifications. And here we are telling that what should we do? What should we do as a move forward? So my essence is, and my recommendation as well is, see, the team level leadership is becoming a part-time job. It is not becoming a full-time job nowadays. Reason being, we have have an expectation of mature team, and we don't want too much dependency on a leader. Yeah, be it a scrum master, project manager, team leader, whatever word we use. Yeah. So we don't need usually the organizations are not looking for small team dedicated leader role who only does leadership job. Yeah. So for example, you can say scrum master. So that is becoming less and less popular. So there are two options. One option is if I stay at a team level, then I probably need to acquire some team skills. Yeah. So I am also contributing as a contributor in the team, and I play a leadership role. So I can say I might be doing business analysis, I might be doing code test if some of you are familiar with, or a configuration management or some kind of work which I do as a contributor along with my scrum master role. Now you may see that, oh, this is not a product owner role and all. That depends. Yeah, you will see many organization who follow safe, they will have a scrum master product owner role played by one guy only. Yeah. So if you are focusing on the team level role, then I need to get some more team level skills. Else, I need to go to a next level, because pure leadership role is now at a multi-team level. It is not at a single team level. So if we want to focus on facilitation, alignment, coordination kind of role, then I need to scale up my profile and focus on that. Okay, how do I possibly support multiple agile team, multiple project team, multiple scrum teams? And I start moving from different kind of framework approaches and ability to integrate project management, program management. So I am not playing a team level leadership role, I'm playing a second level of leadership role. So my recommendation to our community and clients is that if you want to remain at a team level, then be more multi-skilled. Just one skill of a scrum master may not be good enough. Else, start focusing on multi-skilling is always needed, but start focusing on second level of leadership by way of things like improving your project management skills, by way of improving your coaching skills, doing matter facilitation and coaching, leadership coaching kind of skills, and maybe experiencing more and more agile frameworks. So you are supporting multiple agile teams. Yeah, so that's the idea. And we can talk about if you have any specific queries related to this.
Thank you so much, Saket. That was awesome. So now we're opening up the room for questions. I know that you have all heard a lot. For some of us that have been Scrum Masters for a long time, it's been as if we were just going down the rabbit hole. At a point, it felt as if we were just hit by a bus, or should I say a big truck, and trying to struggle and manage, or trying to survive and be alive, So hearing all this is awesome, and it makes us feel, for me, I think it's making me feel hopeful again. I'm very happy that at least the role of the Scrum Master is actually not going away, but is evolving into something else. So we are going to start taking questions now, and we'll start with Bukola.
Thank you. Hi, Saket. Thank you. So I got the part clearly that at the team level, so the Scrum Master needs to have more be multi-skilled, right? Maybe be a developer or a BA or tester. Sorry that if I have to make you go back and just talk about what you just already said, but I just want to understand what would beyond the team level, what is the Scrum Master
expected to do? So say, let's not too much focus on a title called Scrum Master, rather focus on a leadership role. Yeah, so we can say Scrum Master is a leader who is expected to lead the agile team. Yeah, that's the thing. So one of the sustenance of a leadership role at a team level is that I become more useful for the team. I'm just not the one who get the things and facilitate meetings and all. I do myself also few stuff. Yeah, that's the thing. So as you pointed out, I become a multi-skilling guy. The second possibility is I am not a team level leader. I have a multiple teams which are taking mentorship and guidance from me. Yeah, it is just not me alone. Yeah. So the possibility could be that I have 3, 4, 5 agile teams. They work in a one group, and I am responsible for the delivery facilitation of all these 5 teams. Yeah. So that's a second level role. Now you call that second level role in a safe word as a release train engineer, or you call that role as a project manager, depends. Yeah, that depends upon the title and things which organization care. But we are saying that I am not limited to execution. I am more into strategic alignment, stakeholder engagement, the resolving and alignment related to things which are at a multi-team level, not at an individual level. Now, the possible names which can come at a second level role is project manager. That could be there. So the possibility of a role of a project manager is that I may have a Scrum team, I may have a non-Scrum team, Kanban team, or some amount of waterfall team or a vendors also who are working for it. And we are working on a multi-component environment, and I'm responsible for integrating the whole group for delivering the business value. So that could be a one possibility, which will be requiring motivating and taking care of multiple teams and guiding them towards a common goal. If people are following safe ways of working, it may also connect to a term called release train engineer, who is expected to be a scrum master of scrum master. We can say, oh, there are multiple scrum masters. I'm a caretaker, mentor, coach of the scrum masters. So when I'm doing a second level role, I do have a first level leader at a team. Yeah. The first level leader at a team might be doing leadership and contribution role. So I may have a developer at a team level who is playing scrum master and developer role. Yeah, both. Yeah, there is a there. But I am here to guide him, mentor him, to make sure that we deliver things as a bigger group.
Thank you so much. You started when you told us about how the organization bought into Agile and how we went decline in the decline of agility, even with those that are learning the organization acceptance of and also the evolving of the role of Scrum Master. I think one of the things that got my attention was when you said the Scrum Master role as it was originally, if you still wear that hat, then it's just a part-time role. Now, you being who you were before you started trading over 10 years ago, you were in the programs level and all. I got in not as a developer, not as anything. I got in as a transformational leader, that nice guy that is nice to everybody and can get every other person to do what they want to do, influencing without exacting authority, no technical background. Where do I start my technical knowledge from? How, how do I evolve with the changes that is going on this day?
Yeah.
And to add to the question
please.
that Vine also just asked, what are those technical knowledge that we need to also have in our toolbox?
Great. So my recommendation for this way of thinking is that, see, there will not be a one solution which will fit all of us. Yeah. What we need to focus on is that we need to create some sort of a SWOT analysis for us. And let me just add a slide where I can have something, apply layout, if I can have a blank. No. Okay, yeah, I was looking for a little blank thing, which, yes, I got it, yeah. So what we can possibly do is that I focus on doing my SWOT analysis. Like I focus on what is my strength, what is my weakness, and what is the opportunities and what are threats. Now, reason being is any technology, if I start learning today, I may not come at a level to those people who are using it from last 10 years. So I need to understand that I should be building my future based on what is little bit there in my past. Yeah. So I need to understand, probably I have done transformation. Probably I have done stakeholder engagement. Probably I have done some amount of business analysis. Now, with that background, me going into learning how to code in a JavaScript or how to code in a Java is going to be probably not that much productive, because I'm going back to a school days. Then I will take time to come at a level where I can do a contribution. Yes, understanding and empathizing with the developers may be a good idea, but not necessarily I understand those technology. But at the same time, nowadays you have a no code platforms. Yeah. So for example, you have the workflow management thing or a chatbot kind of tools. Yeah. You have Jira kind of tools. Yeah. You have a data analysis kind of tools, which might be aligned to your competency and background. It is not something which you have to code upon, but you can say, yeah, I can possibly help do a workflow configuration to trigger as soon as someone gets an email. We can trigger a reply which can go from ChatGPT. Yeah, I know how to configure that workflow. So that kind of technology may, again, as an example, may work for you. May things like digital asset creation. You can say, oh, I'm good in communication, I probably can create better videos. Rather than I write a code, I probably create a more creative things which might be giving my team a thing, because I was in a transformation, I'm good in a messaging, I can bring those particular competency. Now all these strengths we need to also relate to opportunities as well. I might be good in making, say, workflows, but I see the workflow opportunity doesn't exist. Then I need to drop that idea. I can say, oh, this thing is not working. So as an individual, what I do is I think about my own strength and I own my weaknesses where I feel it will take long time for me to recover. And then my focus should be maximizing my strength. Yeah. So maximizing my strength, which will be helping me to take care of opportunities and mitigating some of the threats which I see in the industry. Opportunities and threats I can only understand when I go to job market study. So I open various job sites, I see what kind of vacancies are getting asked, what kind of competencies are getting asked, and then I say, oh, this competency is getting asked, and then probably I can bring a strength in that particular competency. For example, if I want to learn Jira today, yeah, I am around 15 years behind, because people were learning Jira 15 years ago. Yeah. So that's the thing. But again, if it's a basic hygiene thing, I need to do. But probably I won't get any edge by learning Jira. I will take care of the disadvantage which I had by weaknesses only, but edge will not come. But if I learn some kind of chat GPT oriented automation tools which can help my organization to set up a auto email whenever some escalation or SLA is getting breached, and I know these kind of configurations I can make, and I have a tool which can automate many of our manual processes. Now that industry is new. Yeah, hardly anyone knows it, and everybody's beginner there. So if I jump there, yeah, if I find that particular competency and I jump there, that will be giving me advantage directly. So there could be something which I need to take care of weakness area, but I need to focus more on the strength area. So I know I don't have a direct answer because everybody will find their unique answer, but I believe this kind of approach can probably help.
Thank you,
Um,
Saket.
I know Chichi has a question. Doctor, I know you might want to say something, and other people might want to say something too. For favor, Jola said a Scrum Master does not necessarily need a technical skill. The most important skill for a Scrum Master is leadership, blah, 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 and communication. Most importantly, project management skill. One of the challenges several people coming to me facing is the technical competency, Jola. However, so when you mentioned we should do the SWOT analysis, you said now I'm blind to SWOT analysis. Do we have opportunity that we can have maybe somebody like you hold us by the hand to walk us through it that okay, um Shirley, this is your strength, this is your weakness, this is the advice I will give you and all that. How can we get someone to hold us by the hands through that? Because it's just like a blind man walking and like, what do I need to do?
Yeah, so that's the great thing. And as I come back again and I see also a comment like Scrum Master technical skills and all, so I would say that focus on which level of leadership you want to do. So technical competency will get asked when you are doing technical leadership. And when you start moving to a level which are more strategic and stakeholder oriented, then the stakeholder alignment, delivery, those kind of skills will be more asked because you are moving to a next level. Yeah, so that's the point which we were discussing. Now coming back to how to do a SWOT. So fortunately, you have a great community here, and one of the essential skill of a Scrum Master is ability to coach. Yeah. So if we can coach each other and we can help, because coaching is all about helping the other person do a self-reflection, not telling him what is expected to be there. And in order to do a SWOT analysis, we actually need to do a coaching. Yeah. So we need to coach each other to find out that, okay, what do you think you can do good? What do you think you have been performing in the past? And maybe it generates some brainstorming ideas. And after a while, we can probably summarize the strength and weaknesses. And opportunity and threat requires market analysis. So we need to do some amount of market analysis for that.
Okay, thank you.
Chichi, I promise I'll let you go immediately after this. Doctor, sorry.
Can I please speak,
Just coming
Divine?
back to Jola, sorry, Chichi, 1 minute. She said most importantly, project management skill. So compulsorily, a Scrum Master must have a project management skill. Correct, Saket? Yes or no?
So see,
Compulsorily.
there are two things. As I said, we are focusing on team level leadership or we are going to a next level leadership. Yeah. So if we are going for a next level leadership, the project management, stakeholder engagement, communication, strategy skills becomes important. Yeah. If you are going to a down level leadership, then you want to be a team player. Yeah. But in general, most of us may be going to a next level leadership only. And that's why they might be focusing on improving our ability to coach, improving our ability to do large scale facilitation, only not facilitating only 9-10 people, improving our ability to do project management, improving our ability to do program management as well, going further. So we probably want to do that direction improvement.
I'll shut my mouth now. Chichi, go ahead.
Divine, I just forgot what I wanted to ask because you were just in
I'm
my
so
mouth.
sorry. I'm
But
so sorry.
see,
I'm just so excited
um,
about having Sakets.
so I
Go ahead.
yeah, I want to align, well, let me align with that because I think there is we have the thinking that we have to be technical, right? And we are thinking that way because, oh, that's where the money is, right? But then there are other areas where you can find your space, you can find your strength. For example, Divine, I've spoken about product leadership. If you want to grow in the technical space, there are different roles in the technical space, up to a CTO, right? You can grow that way. If you want to grow in leadership, you can do change management, different kinds of management positions. So let us think broad about it and let us invest in that space because we don't want to run in the same direction. And again, the SWOT analysis is important in defining where your strengths are and matching your strength with opportunities, using the threats to determine you can convert the threats to your strength. So yeah, it's something that we can work together as a team, Agile Disciples, to support this community. But Saket, a question I had for you is leadership. They want predictability, right? And they also want to work in the agile fashion. I was wondering, can you share your experience from with a project in mind on how it worked, maybe in your organization, how you infuse it. From my organization, we do the waterfall projects, from the beginning, right? Then when it comes to the team level, they just do agile, but it is
Agile.
honestly not true agile because they're not delivering value every sprint. And we don't even have stakeholders coming to those meetings, right? So how does it work? Or can you share different flavors of how you've used this
So
structure?
one of the possible tool, yeah, which any of you can use just to start a conversation is called suitability filters. Yeah. So this is a small website just to give a conversation starting point. I am putting the link in the chat. Now, what this website does is it helps you in doing a right conversation. So the diagram which I was showing, so it tells we need to find out what kind of process we want to use in order to deliver a value. Yeah. So it has 9 dimensions, but in a real world, you may add some more dimensions as well. Things like how much access to the customer you have. You may have a team which is sitting with the customer. You may say, guys, customer will not talk to you. Only product owner will talk to you. And then we know that the customers are not available to provide a feedback. You have a less access to them. So as you start moving towards less access to them, you want to get a documentation done. If you have, they are sitting with you, then you don't worry about too much about the documentation. Then you can do agility. Similarly, how much approach buy-in is there? Yeah. So maybe if the stakeholders are willing to go agile or they are not willing to go agile. So yes, they are willing to go, they are not willing to go. Now, how much trust in the team? Yeah. Some organization wants to say, no, 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 no. I want to make people work from office and I don't trust people working from home. Now, for example, yeah. So if you don't trust that people are working until you monitor it, that's a fact. We are not saying good or bad. We know we can make a philosophical statement that this is not agile, but this is what it is. Yeah, the organization has this culture. If you want to work in the company, this is how it is as of now. Then we understand if there is no trust, then we are going to some of the practices which are going into predictive life cycle. So the way this particular suitability filter shows that if you are in an inner circle, you can follow pure agile approaches. In between, there is hybrid approaches. And as you are going outer circle, you are following plan driven approaches. Yeah. So we as a leaders, yeah, Scrum Master, project manager, whatever title we carry, we can talk to our stakeholders and say, we understand you want to do this, but let's have a practical expectation from each other. Let's not have a situation where you don't want to trust the team, but you expect complete accountability from the team and you want customer buy-in happening and iteration release happening. We say this is not going to happen because we cannot have a accountability engagement without having trust in the team. Now you don't want to have a trust in team and you can say no, team should make a decision, because it's not going to work. Team will not make a decision if you are not having trust in the team. Then these 2 dimensions are going out. As a manager, you need to make a decision. So that's a one possible tool. There are other things that do you want to have an incremental delivery, how critical your product is, how likely there is change. So say when we say we want to follow agile, somebody will say, I want to follow agile, but the change in my project is less than 20%. Whatever I know, 80% requirements are true. Somebody will say, no, 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 change in my process is going to be more than 50%. Somebody else will say, change in my process is going to be less than 10%. So they may be using agile for more than 50, 50, and 30 also, but it is going to be little different. It is not the same. So we can understand, okay, we understand that you may have a high level understanding of the requirement, and we are going to elaborate as we go along. So accordingly, experience level as well, team size as well, experience level, the by default assumption of agile is you have a self-organized, motivated, experienced individuals. That's the assumption. But if you don't have that, then probably you need to see that, okay, we have a low experienced people, then probably I need to have more hand holding, telling them what to do rather than they just do what they can probably think of. We need to have a more hand holding.
In the bathroom?
Yeah, so that is a kind of framework which we can use in order to make things happen as a starting point. And another thing is agility need to be seen in the context. We can't just have a one framework for agility. If I am doing client driven work, then my whole process is driven by the contract between my client and me. So they don't care that I'm following agile or Kanban or waterfall. The first thing they care is what is your contractual obligation? What are your timelines and deliverables in the contract? Are you delivering it? If you're not delivering it, we will not pay you. Yeah. So if I'm doing the development for clients, my major focus is how the contract is designed. If contract has something, I need to take care of that.
Thank you for that. Fatima, your hands are up. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you. So my quick question is, when I go for interviews, sometimes they ask, and I'm not sure, well, now that I've heard you, I kind of understand where they're coming from, but the interviewer sometimes would ask you, what is your approach to waterfall, bringing your team here? Now, I'm not really sure what they're hoping to hear. How do I respond to that? Do they just want to know if I'm okay with having a hybrid approach on my team, or they want me to explain when do I use waterfall and when do I use agile for my team? How would you approach such a question when you're asked at an interview?
Yeah. So the suitability filter is a good tool to handle that conversation, which will be probably helping us to find out right approach for a given requirement. Yeah, we can say yes, we can do this thing is called life cycle selection. So we can do a project life cycle selection, looking into a various project context. We can find out which particular life cycle is suitable for us. So that's the one way of handling the question. Another possibility could be they just may want to understand, have you ever worked in the environment where deliverables were pretty fixed? Yeah. So you may need to talk about, or maybe probably say that if we have a client driven work, I need to start by understanding the contract as well. Because if my contract has a fixed deliverable, and I know if these deliverables are moving, my company is not getting paid for it, I need to make sure that we follow appropriate change control process so that we can get money for it. Yeah. So that's the idea. Again, there will be always possibility of changing even in a waterfall world or even in a scrum world. Change is always possible. We cannot have an assumption that I give you one requirement and you just have to do that requirement. That is not possible. But the only difference is change is happening after due diligence and you get a separate money for that change, or you have a lightweight process where change keeps happening, your money keeps coming in. It's like a time and material. So I need to probably talk about that. Yes, we probably maybe they want to test that, can you handle the situation where your contracts are pretty fixed, and how do you possibly ensure that we have a predictability and right deliverable and we don't lose the money. Yeah. And third thing is some amount of project management theory can help you. So if you demonstrate some kind of PMP or a project management kind of competency in your profile, talk things like risk management and to predict scheduling and some kind of those terms, probably that also give a confidence to a recruiter that you have some familiarity about hybrid way of working, or a predictive or a traditional way of working.
Thank you. I'm not sure if there's any other person with question, but however, Saket, I know that you had to get up like before 5 a.m. to join us during this meeting. Thank you for the time you created. If you had asked me 2 years ago or early last year, you want to be a Scrum Master, I could say that transferable skills, your transferable skills, yeah, you understand the events, backlog refinements, and all those nice things and all that. You could talk all those jargons and you'll be able to get a job. Saket, you being one of the leading people on YouTube concerning Scrum Masters interview and all those kind of things. Now, for so many that could be on this call now that are trying to get into the Scrum Master role, what are the things they really need to do? They've never been a Scrum Master, but they want to get into Scrum itself or into Agile space or into this space, because I don't even think there's Scrum Master role like that again, because as though everything seems to be project management. But if I want to get into this space, what do I really need to do now?
Going back to the observation of the trends, which I spoke about, the 5 trends. So when I see the Scrum Master role, good amount of Scrum Master roles are expecting safe experience. Yeah, that's a one trend you will see. So when you talk about safe experience, that focusing on PI level things. Yeah. So how do you do PI planning? How do you do Scrum of Scrum? How do you do inter-team coordination, collaboration? How do you escalate issues? How do you manage dependency as a you rather than my team does it? Yeah. So nowadays, a little bit focus is coming on you as well as a contributor, so I am an enabler. That's a thing. But what other than enabling you do? Yeah. So that is becoming a little bit specific question to the people. So some of them expect them to demonstrate how they can handle the safe way of working. One idea. The second thing which we see in the interviews nowadays is that focus on communication and stakeholder handling. So they get a case study that this is a status of your project, this is a status of your team. How would you communicate this information to the senior management in a 5 minutes presentation, in a 10 minutes presentation? So earlier it was more like I will facilitate the conversation. Now, because of multi-team working, because of combination of hybrid ways of working, they also expand that you need to have a better communication and articulation skills. It may be needed when you work in a multi-scrum environment because you are a leader for multiple scrum team. It might be needed when you are working with a diversified stakeholders. So the case studies like you get a particular situation and they ask you to make a 5 minutes presentation, 10 minutes presentation to summarize what is happening in the project is becoming pretty common nowadays. Yeah, that's the another trend we see. And indirectly, it is also trying to pinpoint, can you handle this particular thing well? Yeah, that's there. The third thing, the focus on, somebody spoke about predictability. Yeah. So focus on looking at data beyond working software also. So though it was a part of the process before as well, but ability to interpret, present, and highlight data. Yeah. So that is becoming one of the another competency which is needed in the leaders now, be it a project manager, be it a scrum master. So which
That's more
means
of data analysis, right?
yeah, analysis for a project related work. Yeah, so project related work, like you can do a root cause analysis, probably you can identify the bottlenecks, you can show the velocity trends, ability to interpret cumulative flow diagram. So those kind of things is also probably is getting asked, but again, it is connected to communication only. Yeah, so it is basically focusing on I can make people appreciate the problem. I can also expose the bottlenecks rather than I am only running a retrospective meeting and teams are exposing the bottleneck. I have an ability to find out the Pareto analysis myself, root cause analysis myself, control chart myself, and I can do the projection of it. Yeah. So these kind of things I see is coming, which is basically communication, data analysis, engagement, working with diversified stakeholder, ability to build trust, general leadership skills. Yeah. But I think these are the skills which are good for project manager and scrum master. Go ahead, please. Yeah.
I do have a question around project management. I know that as a scrum master, most of the time, we can transfer our skills to different domains. But as a project manager, most of you can't do that. You are mostly employed based on the projects that you have handled. So if your project is more in the financials or healthcare, those are the kind of areas that they want to give you, that your resume will even get any interview for you. So how do we handle this kind of situations where we find ourselves in this kind of competitive environment where as now we are moving away from the traditional Scrum Master role to a hybrid role where we have to also have project management skills, but we don't really have those knowledge in some of those things. For a good example, right now they have a lot of project management in construction. If I want to look for a job in that area, I can't because I've never done anything there. So how do I handle this?
So say be it a Scrum Master role, be it a project manager role, as a role definition, they are expected to be more communication, collaboration, transparency, integration role. Yeah, that is something was expectation. But at the same time, organization believe the person should be able to speak our language. Yeah, the person should be able to contribute more rather than just passing information from one place to another place. The person should have his own intelligence to find out the problems. Yeah, so that's the expectation. And when you have an expectation of a contribution, then they look for a particular skill. Yeah, they look for that, do you have a skill itself to do this particular job? So understanding the domain is something which is associated with gradually with a leadership role. Even if you want to hire someone as a senior executive in your organization, you probably want to get the person from a similar industry. Yeah, you probably want to, so that person understands your domain. You don't want to hire as a retailer, you may not want to hire a financial institution executive as a retail business head. Yeah, probably. But again, this is not very black and white. There are organizations who are willing to do that, but there are organizations who will be very close and focusing on domain skills only. Yeah. So difficult answer to navigate, but yes, I probably the type of work I have done will play a role to increase my ability to see the trend and the problem and speak the language which my customers are using. That can also bring a limitation at some extent, but I need to find out the appropriate place so that I keep enhancing my area of domain, but getting rid of domain at all. Theoretically, it's possible, and some organization may appreciate that, but not all.
Thank you.
Yeah.
So anybody else has any other question for Saket?
Saket, let's look at this in this light. Okay, I have my PMP. I've been a project manager for a while, even though it was a force in the sense that before now, I'd always thought if you had the agile knowledge, you shouldn't be in the waterfall space. They're like water and oil, stay away. Now that I'm a project manager, PMP, what is next after PMP? What's because maybe looking at what Jola said again, that's what Favor Jola said again about project management skill has to be top notch. You know, what more apart from being PMP certified?
So the point which Annie is making about domain and all. So I personally believe these certifications are like a vocabulary. They are not the whole competency. You get the right language. That's it. Yeah. You do a PMP for 2 months, maybe 2.5 months, but that's alone is not the one which put you a good project manager, that you get started into the project management language. But the competency remains ability to work with people, ability to see the trend, ability to forecast the problems, ability to use stakeholder language. Yeah. So as I get into it, I will be doing more complicated projects and I will be moving into second level of integration, which could be a program level integration, which could be a product level integration also. Depends, yeah, depending upon how the organizations are designed. But I would say the core skills of a project management is getting things done, delivering value, and ability to connect with the market and stakeholders together. Yeah. So it's more like an integration job. I integrate all the efforts so that we deliver a value. So that is going to be my competency. From a certification perspective, PMB gives me a basic vocabulary the way CSM gives a Scrum Master a basic vocabulary. Now, having a CSM does not ensure that you will be a great Scrum Master, but you know the terms which are needed for a Scrum Master so that you can build the skill at a next level. Yeah, that's something one can do. Now, if someone is looking for a certification-based differentiation only, yeah, we can say, I want to have some differentiation. Then the possible things are program management, PGMP, program management certification, which is at a program level, which is expected to be a next level after PMP from a PMI perspective. People who are more into stakeholder engagement level, coaching, capability building level, they may want to increase their skills in the coaching space as well, maybe by doing ICF coach and all, because ultimately it's all about leadership and people management skills as well. But these certification can put a right goal for you, but you need to build competency along. That's the another area. So these are the two probably I can recommend to people who are already good into Agile and PMP space.
Wow. Wow. Thank you. Favor Jola, over to you for your question. Favor, your hands out. Oh, you dropped it. Okay, that's fine. Is there any other?
Sorry.
Go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thank
Good
you so much
afternoon.
for this opportunity, PD. I just want to kind of chip in something. I think Annie, you were the one. Is it Anne or Annie?
Anne is fine.
And sorry,
So
yeah.
your question actually motivated me to speak up. PD is actually my boss, so I hail. Anyways, so I just want to talk about you having Scrum Mastery knowledge and then pivoting to project management. And if you're working in construction, how do you want to pivot to healthcare? So let me give you a background about myself. So I was a Scrum Master for 3 to 4 years, and I wanted to pivot to another job. So the first skill I acquired was PMP, project management. You cannot base Saket
Divine and everybody has been saying, you can't base just on Scrum Master only. So I did my PMP, and after doing my PMP, I started applying for something that I wanted, a job that I wanted. And from a financial company, I was employed into biotech just because of PMP. Because what I'm doing right now is more of project management. But of course, on my resume, I did put that I only have Scrum Mastery knowledge, but I also have a PMP. So that is what helped me to get the job into biotech, biopharma company. So you can wiggle around that as well if you want. If you've been in construction company and you want to move to maybe financial industry, it just you have to sell yourself as a leader first, not a Scrum Master, not your CSM, not your PMP. You have to sell yourself as a leader with communication skills. And one of the most important thing about project management skill is prioritization techniques. Like I think Saket said something about the values of your stakeholders. They're not going to pay you until you deliver their values, right? So you prioritize which one is more important for your organization, for your sponsors, for yourself, for your team, and then you deliver. So I'll stop there. Thank you for the opportunity.
Thank you so much,
Yeah.
Favor. Really appreciate you. Thank you so much. So we have opportunity for just about two more questions from anybody. Two more questions.
Question for Saket. The you just shared a tool, the sustainability.
Agile sustainability filter.
Yeah. When do you
Agile
use it?
suitability filter. Sorry.
Suitability filter.
Yeah.
So in
Go
the
ahead.
ideal context, as you initiate a new initiative, in our project management word, we call it project, yeah, because it's a temporary initiative. So when we are initiating a new project, we can do a project life cycle selection. Yeah, so usually guided by my PMO group, and we may have such kind of questionnaire. In the Agile suitability filter gives you 9 questions. As a company, you may have another 2, 3 more, and some guidance about how to answer it. And based on the answer, we need to find out, what will be our sprint length, what kind of documents we will create, what kind of roles we will have, what kind of matrices we will follow, what kind of milestones we will have. Yeah, so we are finding that out, and that thing is called approach, ways of working. So we are finalizing our ways of working by mixing the appropriate tools, looking at the context. Yeah, we are saying, we are working in a multiple geography, probably we need to focus on remote collaboration rather than daily stand-up. So we may reach there, for example. Yeah, so that way is a right place to start with. And again, we can revisit it. It is as we do retrospective and lesson learned about our work, we can improve it.
Sure, thank you. And another question. I am very I'm certificate averse at this point. After certifying so many people, and what would you say about certifications at this point to people who are maybe if you have a leadership role, or you're a leader and you've managed projects with lots of experience, would you advise people to go ahead and chase certifications, or what would be your approach to
Just
that?
the previous comment which came that the contributor shared that because of PMP she got an opportunity to get into a biotech thing. Yeah. So what I usually see is the certification plays a role, especially when people are doing transition and transformation. I am somewhere, but I want to get somewhere else. And whatever experience I have is not taking me directly there. I need to do some boost up. Yeah, I need to do some boost up so that I go there. So at that place, people start putting the focus on certification, appropriate one. Yeah, the one which takes you there. Now, if your current thing is enjoying, then definitely there is no problem. But when you want to put that next level, you probably want to do. That's the one idea. The second thing is the certification makes your learning little focused, smart objective. It gives you a clarity that, oh no, oh, I want to do these things. So I have a clear goal in mind, rather than I'm sitting and learning project management and I may get confused because there are so much things which you can learn about project management. When you say I'm learning PMP certification, then you are learning a slice of a project management, not for full one, but that slice is something clear cut. You know that this is something I will do at the end of it. That's the second thing. Third thing, I usually tell that your communication skills, your leadership skills, your stakeholder engagement skills, they all are like a water. That's your main thing. But when you make a drink, when you want to sell your drink, sometimes the pure water doesn't sell. Yeah, you need to put a flavor into it. And sometimes because of a nice flavor, it will sell. But whatever the other person is drinking, he's drinking majorly the water. Yeah, but it is drinking the water, but because of that flavor, the flavor could be a PMP. Yeah, so you had there your whole water, yeah, of your personality, of your experience, and then you put a little flavor of PMP into it, and it looks red color drink now, which attracts people to pick it up. Yeah, but ultimately you are delivering your whole experience, not just that particular small flavor you added there.
Yeah. Okay. And I asked that question first because of what the last speaker had mentioned, and also because people already have it, right? But it isn't making so much of a difference. So that's where I was coming from.
Yeah,
I
so
would
flavor.
focus more on the experience and say, okay, that's where I'll come from.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So the third point which I added, it's a flavor. Yeah. So you need to have a water in order to make a flavor. If your water itself is not good enough, then flavor alone will not sell.
Right.
Wow.
Yeah.
You know, so one of the things you've done to some of us is just to reassure us of give some of us clarity, and some of us reassuring us that wherever step we're taking is the right step. Just what Mumi Bello mentioned in the chat. Yes, totally agrees with you, Saket. Scrum Master expected to expand collaboration by broadening interactions beyond their immediate teams, or for stronger organization alignment, KPI reporting, innovation, and more technical. Anyway, you're just reassuring us of some of the things. However, for those of you that might not have the PMP certifications, or might want to even learn the PMP, maybe you have the certification, you just want to take the course again without the certification. Um, Saket has been beautiful, generous enough, is ready to give huge discounts. You can just reach out to the Agile Disciples, reach out to Dr. Anne, any of the coaches and all that to get straight to Saket. And trust me, coach is going to drop some of his LinkedIn profile too, so that you can follow him and all that. He's happy to give us that discount to hold us by the hands through this transformational journey.
Thank you.
One more question.
I have one more question as we round up. Please, can you just help us to summarize everything? How do we measure success in a hybrid setting? So in a place where we are working in as project managers or Scrum Masters, and now with using all the project management skills, how do we measure success? What's that like as we round up
So
this?
success as an individual or success as a project?
So success as the hybrid role where you're combining the two, where you're using some project management skills and some agile skills, more of waterfall.
Okay. So what I'm understanding is it's success as a person, that am I contributing enough, and that something is coming in. So see, in general, the success is something which has to be created. Yeah. It is something, a story. Yeah, it doesn't exist. Yeah, that's the thing. So for someone, a thing is success, and someone, a thing is not success. Yeah, but that's thing. So in order to create that, we need to create our guideline, our story. It may not be a universal thing, but you probably need to find out what is definition for success for you, because it varies. Some of the possible parameters which one can think of is how transferable my skills are. Yeah. So when I'm acquiring a particular skills, are they limited to a small boundary, or they are pretty much applicable to few more roles than my A role. Yeah. So say if I get a skills to communicate stakeholder engagement, I can do A, B, C, D role because there are multiple areas where I am focusing on. So I might be successful if I can add little cross skills which are more dynamic than a specific skill. Yeah, that could be one area of success. The another possibility which we can think of is the amount of impact, amount of references I am getting. So if I see that, as many of us spoke about, the water is important, just not the flavor. So I need to acquire the good connection, good network, good recommendation on my social, my LinkedIn profile. It should show that yes, I am growing. I am growing by working in a given month because I acquired something nice, like nice comment, nice connection on my LinkedIn profile. So I'm earning something. So the way I look at it, I definitely value that. I will say, yeah, that is something I care for. Another point is that whoever has hired me, that person should also get a value. Yeah. So see the amount of value we generate. That is also a success thing. So if my company is getting the right profitability, right delivery, there are people who may do a project and they are only focusing on, I want to learn this technology. I don't care if the customer is getting value or not, because my value is I will learn this thing. Now, that may be a short-term focus, because if you only focus on that area, it may not be giving you the future recommendation, future confidence. There are some people who has a very good connection with their old bosses, old companies. Even they can go visit and join sometime their old employers as well. There are others who may not have it. So building the relations, connecting the connections, that can also play one of the important. And the connections and building relations, in my belief, only happens when we deliver value. Yeah. So it's not like unnecessary or maybe tricking the connection creation, but by delivering value, I think I would consider that success. Yeah. This is my story for the success, I guess. Yeah.
Thank you. Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
Doctor, we are almost out. We are almost right on time. But before we let Saket leave, just in 1 minute, sir, what would be your word of advice? Just 1 minute for those that are maybe in the field, those that want to get into the field of agility. Just one word of advice from you, Saket, to everyone listening to you today. Just less than a minute. Go ahead, sir.
So, uh, 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 is there any slide, or just one word
Oh,
of
no.
advice? Yeah, general.
No.
So for each question, one word, or
No, as in what advice for everybody listening to you, advice
okay,
to
okay.
us,
So
just a
see, in
word.
general, I would say that everybody is unique. Yeah. So don't try to just focus on a particular profile. Yeah, that's the thing. So I need to find the same problem with the agile, and the same thing is applicable to us. If we believe one agile framework, Scrum framework can solve problems of millions of companies, we will be doing mistake. Yeah. Similarly, if we believe one possible direction can solve the problem of billions of professionals, then also it will be a mistake. So
Mm,
those things gives idea, but I need to find my own path. Yeah. And talking to fellow your agile disciples group, mentoring each other will help us in finding the path. There is nothing right, there is nothing wrong. We need to focus
mm,
on what we can do well, so that we can find out our next direction. There is always an opportunity. There is something which we need to
mm.
find it out, which suits us. Yeah, that's something we can do. Yeah.
Thank you so much. Thank you very much.
Thank you,
And thank you for
Saket.
the discount as well you're giving us. I hope we can have you again on this our program to just come back and pick it to another level. We really, really appreciate your time with us. Thank you so much. And for everybody that is listening to us today, we want to really appreciate you for your time and also for joining us today. Note that our next month we're going to be having, I know a lot of people are thinking of the career, the path, the next thing, and all that. Next month, we're going to be having introduction to cybersecurity, exploring different paths to a cybersecurity career. You will see more on this on our LinkedIn post, and also if you want to follow us, these are social media, our social media either on LinkedIn, Twitter, on YouTube. We are streaming live on YouTube now, and people are watching us there. I'm like, whoops, thank you very much, tech support for that. So, Saket, would it be fine if we have your LinkedIn as well? Some of us would like
Yeah,
to
I
follow
put
you,
into the
like your
chat. I
post,
put into the
All
chat
right, guys, go
already.
ahead, follow him. Just say thank you to him on the
Thank
chats. You can
you.
just drop a word for him on the in the chats as well. And also you can do that on his LinkedIn post. Thank you, Mibelo, for dropping that and all. So, Doctor, over to you.
Okay, thank you. And as we round up, please just using emojis, can you all drop how you're feeling right now? Just put emojis in the chat based on how you're feeling. Are you happy? Are you excited? Are you sad? Just one emoji in the chat. That's just all we want to see. As you thank Saket as well, we're really grateful and we say thank you, Saket, for coming to spend the early hours of your morning with us today. Thank
Yeah.
you. Yeah, the emojis are coming really good. Some people are dancing, some are so happy and excited. I personally feel very hopeful because I thought the Scrum Master role is all gone and dead, but I feel so happy that it's actually just transitioning to something else that is, like we can even relate to it. So thank you for rekindling all that hope in a lot of us here today, Saket. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. And thank you, everybody. Bye. See you next month. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye. Thank you.